Hello, welcome back to our YouTube channel. My name is Gena Demola. So today, I just felt like talking. I had a different idea of what I wanted to do today, but thanks to God, we are doing something else. I'm trying to talk. I just want to talk. This is like one of the core reasons why I started this channel. I just wanted an avenue where I could once in a while, and I realized that I've never done it. So yeah, today is the day. Plus today is 16th. So it's a special day for me. And initially I wanted to talk about just don't matter. I think I'll post this video after I post the video where I sell my car or try to sell my car. And it just made sense that I did a follow video talking about it. But then again, that's not what I'm going to be doing in this video. I arrived at a different point right now. I don't know if it makes sense. I don't know if it's going to make sense. But I decided I was going to talk into the camera. So pardon my whole aesthetic today. I just didn't buy the idea. I don't want to on light on my face. I don't want to wear my glasses, so thereby because I don't want sunlight on my face. So yeah, straight to the story of the day. I was reading an important chapter. I was reading. I've barely been reading, so I chose to read The Courage to be Disliked by Ichiro Kishimi. So because I've barely been reading, I've been binge. Is that a word? I've been reading this particular book slowly. I've barely been reading it. I just go about read like a chapter, and saying a chapter that's like 6 pages. I think it ranges from like 3 to 6 pages. So I go about reading just that throughout the whole day, and it's been slightly helpful. There are a lot of details in the chapter that I think are really nice. Yo, pardon me for this light. The light is twitching. Tiring. This book has done me a good service. It's a conversation between a youth and a philosopher. So they go back and forth. The youth says something, the philosopher treats it. Sometimes the philosopher brings up a topic and the youth um, learns from the topic or tries his best to contradict what the philosopher is trying to say. And I've loved the whole dialogue. I just since it's not something, it's not really a book in my opinion. It feels like a conversation. And I just go through it, watch the videos, and I go back and forth and see how it goes. So because I've barely been reading, it has been something of service where I don't really need to read. I just skim through once in a while and yeah, pick their brains. So today, I opened a new chapter. Do not live to satisfy the expectation of others. I don't know, but I think we have time, so I would read the conversation out actually. So, philosopher, being recognized by others is certainly something to be happy about, but it would be wrong to say that being recognized is absolutely necessary. For what does one seek recognition in the first place? Or to put it more succinctly, why does one want to be praised by others? Youth, it is simple. It's through being recognized by others that each of us can truly feel we have value. It is true recognition from others that one becomes able to wipe away one's feelings of inferiority. One learns to have confidence in oneself. Yes, it's an issue of value. I think you mentioned it last time that the feeling of inferiority is an issue of value judgment. It's because I could never get recognition from my parents. I have never lived a life tainted by feelings of inferiority. Now the philosopher responds, philosopher. Now let's consider a family setting. For example, let's say you have been picking up litter around your workplace. The thing is, no one seems to notice at all. Or if they do, no one has given you any appreciation for what you have done or even said a single word of thanks. Well, Will you keep on picking up litter from now on? Youth. That's a different situation. I suppose that if no one appreciates what I'm doing, I might stop. Philosopher, why? Youth. Picking up litter is for everyone. If I'm rolling up my sleeves and getting it done, but I don't get a word of thanks, I guess I'd probably lose my motivation. Philosopher, this is the danger of the desire for recognition. Why is it that people seek recognition from others? In many cases, it is due to the influence of reward and punishment education. Youth, reward and punishment education. Philosopher, if one takes appropriate action, one receives praise. If one takes inappropriate action, one receives punishment. Adler was very critical. So, yeah, Adler is who the philosopher references like most of the time. Adler was very critical of education by reward and punishment. It leads to mistaken lifestyles in which people think if no one is going to praise me, I won't take appropriate action. And if no one is going to punish me, I will engage in inappropriate actions too. You already have the goal of wanting to be praised when you start picking up litter. And if you aren't praised by anyone, you either be indignant or decide that you'll never do such a thing again. Clearly, there's something wrong with the situation. Youth, no. I wish you wouldn't trivialize things. I'm not arguing about education. Wanting to be recognized by people you like, to be accepted by people close to you, is a normal desire. Philosopher, you are badly mistaken. We are not living to satisfy other people's expectations. Youth, what do you mean? Philosopher, you are not living to satisfy other people's expectations, and neither am I. It is not necessary to satisfy other people's expectations. Youth, that is such a self-serving argument. Are you saying one should think about oneself and live self-righteously? Philosopher, in the teachings of Judaism, one finds a view that goes something like this. If you are not living your life for yourself, then who is going to live it for you? You are living only your own life when it comes to who you are living it for. Of course, it's you. And then, if you are not living your life for yourself, who could there be to live it instead of you? Ultimately, we live thinking about I. There is no reason that we must not think that way. So you are afflicted by the poison of nihilism. After all, you say that ultimately we live about I. And that's okay. What a wretched way of thinking. Philosopher, it is not nihilism at all. Rather, it is the opposite. When one seeks recognition from others and concerns oneself only with how one is judged by others in the end, one is living other people's lives. Youth, what does that mean? Philosopher, 7 minutes. Wishing so hard to be recognized will lead to a life of following expectations held by other people who want you to be this kind of person. In other words, you throw away who you really are and live other people's lives. And please remember this, if you are not living to satisfy other people's expectations, it follows that other people are not living to satisfy your expectations. Someone might not act the way you want him to, but it doesn't do to get angry. That's only natural. Youth, no, it's not. That is an argument that overturns our society from its very foundation. Look, we have found the desire for recognition, but in order to receive recognition from others, first we have to recognize others ourselves. It is because one recognizes other people and other systems of values that one is recognized by others. It is through this relationship of mutual recognition that our very society is built. Your argument is aberrant, dangerous way of thinking, which will drive human beings into isolation and lead to conflict. It is diabolical solicitation. It's a diabolical solicitation to needlessly stir up distrust and doubt. Philosopher, aha. You certainly have an interesting vocabulary. I was going to say because there's no need to raise your voice. Let's think about this together. One has to get recognition or one will suffer. If one doesn't get recognition from others and from one's parents, one won't have confidence. Can such a life be healthy? So one could think, God is watching, so accumulate good deeds. But that and the nihilist view that there is no God, so all evil deeds are permitted, are two sides of the same coin. Even supposing that God did not exist and that we could not gain recognition from God, we will still have to live this life. Indeed, it is in order to overcome the nihilism of a godless world that it is necessary to deny recognition from other people. Youth, I don't care for all this talk about God. Think more straightforwardly and more plainly about the mentality of real everyday people. What about the desire to be recognized socially? For example, what does a person want to climb the corporate ladder? Why does a person want to climb the corporate ladder? Why does a person seek status and fame? Is the wish to be recognized as somebody important by society as a whole? Is it desire for recognition? Philosopher. Then, if you get that recognition, would you say that you have really found happiness? Do people who have established their social status truly feel happy? Youth, no. But that's philosopher. When trying to be recognized by others, almost all people treat satisfying other people's expectations as the means to their end, and that is in accordance with the stream of thought of reward and punishment education that says one will be praised if one takes appropriate action. If, for example, the main point of your job turns out to be satisfying other people's expectation, then that job is going to be hard on you because you always be worried about other people looking at you and fear their judgment, and you are repressing your highness. Your person. It might come as a surprise to you, but almost none of my clients who come for counseling are selfish people. Rather, they are suffering trying to meet the expectations of other people, the expectations of their parents and teachers. So, in a good way, they can't behave in a self centered fashion. Youth, so I should be selfish. Do not behave without regard for others. To understand this, it is necessary to understand the idea in Adlerian psychology known as separation of task. Youth, separation of task. That's a new term. Let's hear about it. The youth's irritation had reached its peak. Deny the desire for recognition. Don't satisfy other people's expectations. Live in a more self-centered way. What on earth was this philosopher saying? Isn't the desire for recognition itself people's greatest motivator for associating with each other and going about the formation of society? The youth wondered, what if this separation of task idea doesn't win me over? I won't be able to accept this man or Adler for that matter for the rest of my life. So I spent most of the time reading this thing, and I said I was going to use 15 minutes initially. So I think we'll be doing 30 for me. So back to the topic. This chapter struck something in me. I don't know if I read it well, and if you are watching this and it strikes you the same. It's I don't really know how to put it. Um, I'll just let it be and just talk about what led me here initially. Um, I wanted to make this video because I just felt like if I put huge po- a huge portion of my life out, um, posting about how I sold my car, and in the video, I tried my best to talk on matters like the us don't matter, and I don't think I did justice to it. And initially, yeah, this video was meant to be a follow-up of me talking about the us don't matter, especially considering the fact that today is 16th of June, and it's like an anniversary thing for me, signaling the us don't matter. So it made sense to me to just talk about it on this day. And I initially told myself that I was going to talk about it today, then post it on the 7th of June, because that was when the realization dawned on me. Personally, I had an experience of the us don't matter, and that's what I wanted to talk about initially. I wanted to go about my day, finish the day, then get to it. When I read this chapter, what it meant to me was that I think it was something reinstating the fact. In saying the odds don't matter, I personally, so it means like series of things for me. It means doing things regardless of people's appreciation or criticism. There's that. Then number two, it means doing things for the sake of doing things because you actually want to do things. You think that's the right thing to do. You think that's what needs to be done. So you do it for just that purpose, the fact that you believe it needs to be done. And I like to cite examples. I cite examples. I say, imagine a world, imagine a Nigeria where whiskey didn't exist. Imagine a Nigeria where Olamide didn't exist. Imagine a Nigeria where I love superstars. Imagine now, because for me it has been something that has been really, really impactful. So imagine a world where Ashake didn't strive. Do you get? So it's just you doing something because you honestly believe that you need to do something. You do your best, not because of you think people are going to clap for you, not because you think people are going to criticize you. You just do it because you think that's what is right. And sometimes you get claps, sometimes you get pushes, sometimes. And today's story is kind of sponsored by someone. So I had a gaming up growing up while I was in school. I had a gaming up in school, and I remember some guys came to play game, and yeah, I barely even go to shop at the time. I think I was in front level. So, but at the time I went to shop. So I was in the shop, and some guys came in. They came to play game. Then they were gisting. So while talking, they talked about a friend of theirs. Apparently, someone else stole their friend's money, and the friend's life was a wreck. I can't go into full detail. I can't even really remember, but yeah, today's story is sponsored by that guy, sponsored by them saying it in my ear. And I'm interested in saying it today because I experienced something similar. So it just made sense to me. I shared something with someone, and I don't know how many people I share that kind of story with. As much as initially when this thing happened, it felt like, oh, I was stupid. Like, why did I let something like that happen to me? I could have done this, I could have done that. It's easy for you when you're caught up in a scenario. Regret is it catches up on you. You think you are the wrong one. And in some scenarios, certain shit are just meant to happen. There's nothing you could have done about it. Now, thinking back, I thank God most times. I thank God that my life played out that exact way for a lot of reasons because that's what made me arrive at Deus no matter. That's a defining time for my life. I had an agenda. I had a way that I wanted to do things. Then something just happened. I crushed the whole thing. And at the time, yeah, let me use the term. So because I posted on Twitter, I think days ago, about being an old taker. So at the time, I thought I'd become an old taker. I, I didn't even think I'd become an old taker. Because when it happened, I felt like it was something I was going to overcome. It just felt like something that had to happen. I felt betrayed. Betrayal was like the only emotion that I really, really felt. I felt betrayed that a friend of mine would steal my money. I didn't know the person, but it just felt like, oh, one of my friends must have been involved in this role before it occurred. And I had a logic as to how it occurred because I felt like, oh, there was a particular day that I left my system around and people had access to it. So it must have happened at that particular day. Then that particular day happened to still be this same day. So it made sense that, oh, I left my PC then. These people had access to it. Why did I allow these people to have access to my PC? I don't know if it's making sense. So at the time, it felt I felt betrayed because the whole reason why I left my PC around people is because I trust them that they wouldn't harm me. And now they harmed me. So I just wanted to live where I was at. I left where I was at, started a fresh life entirely. So thanks. Yeah. If you are saying this one and you know about it, so thank you so much to you. If you were there for me emotionally, monetarily, because I needed to take loans at some point. So if you were there for me during all this period, this is also me again saying thank you again because yeah, you're part of the story and I can't even start mentioning names. I just know there's a huge list. Not a huge list, but God has always provided me with everything that I need in terms of people, in terms of everything. So and if you were the one that God provided me with at the time, thank you so much. I don't know if I've been a good person overall all my life. I try my best. But yeah, little thank you. So back to my story. So someone stole from me and I'd become an old taker at the time. I felt like oh, my life was going to crush. I was then at the time it felt like oh it wasn't much. I've always been making money all my life, so I'm going to just keep on making money. So how bad can it get? After this scenario, I didn't make any money again. I wasn't making any money. To make things worse, my dad fell ill. A lot of things happened around this time, and I can't go into full detail about my life, but a lot of things happened, and I didn't make money. I was just juggling my life, and I stumbled on the no matter because I had an agenda of how I wanted things to go, and things were not going that way. And I arrived at a breaking point, to be honest. I think it was a breaking point. And that's why there's a lot of thank you to a lot of people. Because I arrived at a breaking point. Thanks to people out in my corner, thanks to God, thanks to everything, and thanks to delusion. And that's the core of my story. I think coming from where I'm from, if life is fairly uncertain to you, um, if you're unsure about life, the only major thing you can key into majorly is delusion. Delusion. Deluding yourself into believing you are special and the things that are happening to you are happening for that particular reason. Like they just have to happen to you for your life to happen the way you presume it to happen. And deluding yourself is in you believing that the odds don't matter, because it's something where you have been told. It's not something where you have been told. It's something where you can visibly see it. You can see yourself. You can see your life crumbling, crumbling. If someone has stolen your money and you have been grinding and you are not making any money, now you are suffering and you used to enjoy. And this is not a story where I'm saying it from just someone whose money was stolen. I'm saying this as someone who has lost money also, because this case happened in 2019. I've made more money than I lost then, and I've lost money to a series of things. I've had different things now crush me now. So I think I know better to know that the least of my worries is someone stealing my money. Different things can always happen. Things happen that are beyond our control. Things would always happen in our lives that we won't expect. No matter how smart we think we are, no matter how many books you read, trying to guide yourself, no matter how many movies you watch, looking at people's experiences, no matter how safeguarded you try to play your life game, things would always happen that would push you off course. Now, you can make the push, of course, become your new life where you become a useless person. In my opinion, I think that's a useless person. You can make that become your new life, or you can delude yourself into believing that the odds don't matter, and regardless of what the situation speaks, you are you, and as long as you follow your path, you would make gold. I've always deluded myself. It has always worked. I'm in a rough patch right now, but yeah, I just honestly, I wake up every morning and I still go about deluding myself. I've added extra 10 minutes to this video. I don't know. I feel like that's enough talk for the day. If you are watching this video, if you saw this video, I want you to know that yours don't matter, number one. And so I'm making a video for two things. I'm making a video for myself because I'm going to come back to see this video in a year. Right now, I'm deluding myself again that the odds don't matter. I've seen myself. I won't say I've seen myself conquer my battles. I've seen God fight my battles for me. And yeah. So I'm at that point again where the delusion is what counts. Strong battle this year. Well, yeah, I'm AOG, and I said yours don't matter. Why am I to give up, or why am I to give in to the challenges? So now I'm doubling up, taking more risk, Not even more risk because I've lost more, but I'm taking a good risk right now. Still banking on myself. And I'm making this video in case things go well or things go sideways. Thank you for joining in. Love you.